There's over recruiting that goes on at every level, over signing based on factors that maybe parents and players don't really understand, right? The draft and who's going to sign in the draft and who might not sign in the draft, and injuries, and just building depth and trying to figure out who's going to attend school and not attend school. So there's a lot of universities that sign more players than they have spots for or they have scholarship money for. And then it becomes who's going to develop the best and keep that scholarship. So I'm always leery of that, right? But it happens, and it doesn't happen maliciously by anybody. No one's thinking about, I'm going to over commit my scholarship budget by 5 or 6 scholarships and then try to figure it out. That's not necessarily what happens. They go into their roster and they see that they have possibility of 5 or 6 kids being drafted. 3 of those kids drop in the draft because of maybe injury or performance, and so they don't leave. So they have 3 too many players, and now they have to figure out, what am I going to do with too many players at this point in time? Or they have a junior that gets injured and he has Tommy John surgery and he's coming back a year later, so they have to keep that scholarship money. So there is an overcommitment piece that everyone needs to understand. But we as people in this recruiting process, the collaboration process, is we need to do a good job of investigating the roster and seeing who's on what roster. We need to do a good job of investigating the signing period from the year before and who's committed and who's not committed before we make a commitment to a school, because we can look at that and already see an overcommitment, and that could pose a possible problem. And now we have to control the things that we can control in the process. Can we get better? And can we be one of those players that shows up? And you can still be a wonderful player, but there's just not enough room, and the coaches have to figure out how to make enough room to get to 11-7, to get to 27 kids on their roster that have money, and to start the season without being overcommitted. And so there's a lot of factors when you commit early, when you're an early commit and an early sign, that goes into that early commitment and that overcommitment of scholarship dollars. And so a lot of those are out of your control. The only thing in your control once you've committed is get better and give yourself the best opportunity to show up at that university and play when you get on the field as a freshman.